I'm George Wrighster. He's Ralph Amsden, and this is the College Football Apostles. And we got so much to talk about. College football is changing right before our eyes. Dave Portnoy just offered up to $3 million for a quarterback, and people are like, this is so unfair. No, it's not. It just means more. Remember that, people? It just means more. All right. We also found out that that what happened over at UNLV was not an accident. That Matthew Sluka, that the kid was offered $100,000 and didn't get it, and that's why he's out. We also have to talk about the Hugh Freeze versus Lane Kiffin, because that's becoming a thing. The Mountain West versus the Pac-12, that war continues on. Bear Alexander over at USC, he's going to redshirt this year. What the hell is going on? Are our biggest fears coming true? And, of course, we got the picks for the week. And talking about games, this is a hell of a slate. We are excited. We know that you are too. And make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and tell a friend about it. So go down, like it right now if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, make sure you go to the YouTube link and follow along, because we got lives on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and plenty of content in between. Gambling picks come out today too. This is a hell of a day, hell of a show, college football, and now it's time to go. So we're going to start though with what happened at UNLV yesterday. So Matthew Sluka, so it actually started the night before. And I was finishing up the nightcap on Sirius XM. I had just turned off my Comrex. And then I see a Brett McMurphy tweet pop up. And it was like Matthew Sluka, UNLV quarterback, deciding he's going to redshirt for the rest of the year and transfer. And my immediate reaction was, this is whack. This is whack. This is terrible. Man, just play out the year and then, and then transfer, go get your bread. Because I looked, he was having a good season. And then I was like, whoa. Never mind, he's a senior. Oh, this was the kid from Holy Cross. Duh. Because UNLV had two kids transfer in. One from Holy Cross, another from Campbell. And the Holy Cross kid won the job. And then I'm sitting here thinking, this kid was sought after. If we remember, why the hell would he transfer for no money? This doesn't even make any sense. This is coming from a quarterback dad who knows a lot of quarterback dads and understands some inner workings of these NIL deals that a lot of other people don't. And there's a video on Unafraid Show, break down the entire scenario. So go back, and if you want to rehash all the details there. But Ralph, once I understood and we heard from the players, which we detail in the video and everything, I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. If I show up to work and people stop paying me, I'm going to stop showing up to work. It's real simple.
Yeah. I mean, also, this isn't, it's not a job, right? Like, that's the whole point of this, is it's not a job. It's amateur sport. It's a fee that is supposed to be on top of the office equipment that he gets to do his job, which is his pads, his room, his board, even though it said that he wasn't getting like a stipend for living expenses as a grad student at UNLV. What people need to understand is, like, they're equating this to an issue of greed or a professional contract dispute.
Yeah.
Matthew Sluka finished college. He's done. He played 3.5 years. He was an all Patriot League player.
Yep.
2-time Walter Payton finalist. Like, this is a really, really good player at the FCS level. And because of the COVID allowance, he is allowed to go out and spend 1 year, playing at a graduate level to see if he can become an NFL caliber quarterback. But as it stands right now, he understands about himself, he's probably not going to go to the NFL.
Yep.
He has one opportunity to show it, or one opportunity to play high-level college football. He had a lot of options. And the reason that he chose UNLV on top of the offense making sense for him was that he believed he was going to be paid for his services. This is somebody who hasn't taken NIL before. This was someone who says that he was told, him and his agent, Marcus Cromartie, who he was already in conversations with while he was still enrolled at Holy Cross, before the 2023 season was over. And these aren't claims that came out in the course of the story. He gave an interview after committing to UNLV that he had an agent and was talking to him about what the next steps were going to be. He ultimately makes the decision to go to UNLV. 3 days later, Equity Sports, the agency that he is signed with, makes his signing official, and they announce it. Then he finishes his college career at Holy Cross. He graduates and reports for fall camp, where he wins the starting quarterback job. And at that point, his agent engages UNLV and says, hey, okay, so we had that conversation about the 100,000. How we do this? Cash or check? And the collective is like, what are you talking about? Which I don't blame the collective, because again, they don't know. And so then they're like, hey, we might be in trouble here. His agent isn't registered in the state of Nevada. We didn't even know he had an agent. We didn't know anything about this money. We cut a check for his moving expenses, but we don't actually know why he's asking for this money. So go take it up with the head coach. They go take it up with the head coach, Barry Odom, and he's like, what are you talking about? So it's hard. It's hard at that point.
That's a problem.
For sure. So I don't blame the collective. I don't blame Odom to a certain extent, and I don't blame the kid. And supposedly the assistant that offered it is an offensive coordinator who we've praised a lot, Brennan Marion, for his system. And it's still a good system. It still works. He's still incredibly smart. You know, he's still a very, very talented coach, but they're saying the promise came from him, that it wasn't communicated. And Barry Odom is like, I'm not negotiating during the season, which you're a fan of. You made a video saying,
no, we're not, because then that means that we need to renegotiate if you're not playing up to that level. No, there's a time for pay and a time for play. But I guess the overarching question of this is this a problem with college football? Like, is this the doomsday scenario, Ralph? Because everybody's like, oh, see, this is what we were afraid of. College football's broken. And I'm like, no, it's a business for everybody else. And this is exactly why NIL, the transfer portal, everything associated with it needs to be brought out into Front Street. That the NCAA fighting against it, making these dumbass rules that everybody's just skirting around anyway. Just open the market, make sure everything is transparent, so everything can be in writing, because this is like a drug deal at this point in time. If Ralph, if me and you are selling drugs or doing anything illegal, and then somebody comes to come rob us, right? What's our recourse? We can't call the police. What are you gonna do? Call them and tell them that they taking your money and drugs?
Gotta call Omar.
Exactly. That's literally your only option.
Yeah.
And that's not good for college football. So there's a lot of people who think that this is the doomsday scenario. No, it's the doomsday scenario for these backdoor deals. Everything needs to be on Front Street, and that's where Georgia's Governor Kemp is on the right path, because he signed an executive order, and we talked about it on a previous show, where the schools in Georgia, the colleges in Georgia, can make direct NIL payments to the players. So now we can enter into contracts and ain't no problem. That means that now they're enforceable on both sides. Like a normal business deal.
Right. And so, but people are saying, well, this is it. NIL is the problem. This wasn't even NIL. This wasn't even NIL, which is what UNLV is hiding behind right now in their legal statements that they're issuing, saying that, hey, we don't engage in pay for play. We know that's not allowed. We don't engage in pay for play. Right, because this wasn't NIL in the first place. It wasn't a company using somebody's name, image, and likeness to get equal value of promotion from that player. it was a pay-for-play deal that was set up and not followed through on for any number of reasons. And I'm sure there might be some recourse here, and we might end up finding out the truth, or somebody could get deposed. Lawyers are always going to get involved in this type of stuff because that's billable hours for them. So
But
there's some
wouldn't UNLV
it's on
had
pro
been
bono.
But wouldn't UNLV been better off? They're 3-0, potentially headed to the college football playoff. Wouldn't they have been better off PR wise and financially to just pay the kid the $100,000 that was promised? Because now there's going to be an NCAA investigation. Now they got bad publicity. Now they might not. The new quarterback might not be as good or as effective. It would have been better to just find the money and pay the money than end up here.
Find a company. Like, first of all, UNLV's got a ditch Blueprint. They got a ditch Blueprint because Blueprint didn't do, like, the client that they're managing in UNLV just lost their starting quarterback at 3-0 because they couldn't come to some common sense solution, which is like,
And
go
they
to
were
Fiddler.
willing to settle for $10,000 a month for the next 4 months. So that's $40,000. It's a terrible situation. And if you guys want to know more about it, head over to the Unafraid Show. We have a really good video about it. Ralph, the same damn day that everything is really taking shape, because that was Tuesday night, and then all of the details came out Wednesday. And then yesterday we find out that USC defensive lineman Bear Alexander is now also not playing football anymore. He's done for the year at USC, said that he is redshirting, and then his quote unquote father like figure says, no, he's not leaving USC. He just wants to make sure that, he just wants to make sure that they are in a position the way he can be the full-time starter and the leader that he was brought there to be.
Yeah, so not a good week for people who think coaches are honest, because not only did you have the situation with Matthew Sluka being promised money that never came, you had the immediate media reports that came at and you talked about this on your video. People need to go to Unafraid Show, watch your full breakdown of it. The two immediate media reports that came out that served as the rebuttal for UNLV probably came from Barry Odom, and they were both like, well, somebody came and bought him off our team. And then the next one was, actually, we've paid him everything we owed him, and he just hired an agent after winning 2 games. All three of those things are lies.
Yes.
And so then we get into a situation with Lincoln Riley where he gets questioned in a press conference like, hey, Barry Alexander isn't playing much. Is that an issue? And Lincoln Riley snaps on everybody, and he's like, hey, no, you guys try to make a story out of absolutely anything. There is no there. No story at all. 24 hours later, Bear Alexander's like, I'll show you no story. And then so
I'll show you no story. All right.
And so one day later, Lincoln Riley's facing down the media, and his level of humility is like, yeah, there's a lot of people that want to play on our defensive line. He said there's a lot of excitement about the opportunities that will break for some of these guys. So he never admits that it was a story, just that, like, meh, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's not been a great week for coach integrity. But I will say this: I just Bear Alexander doesn't look good in this.
No,
he really
because
doesn't.
It's confusing as to what he actually wants, because he's a kid that's been at a bunch of different schools, and it's hard to look at USC and think that they're the problem, considering that they have gotten their defense so much better, and their defense is so much better. And if you're not playing on this defense, is it you or is it the defense?
Well, I don't know. So here's what I don't understand. He's not playing much right now, but he's got this gorgeous apartment in SoCal.
Yep.
He's got this NIL deal, which makes you wonder, is him saying like, oh no, I'm redshirting, but I'm not going to leave USC. Is that a way for him to try to keep or recoup some of the money that's coming his way? Is he the one that's generally dissatisfied, or is he getting bad advice for somebody else? Because I think you pointed out, he went to Terrell High School in 2018, Skyline 2020, went to IMG for 2021. In 2022, he was at University of Georgia. In 2023, he was at USC and then entered the portal after the season, only to get brought back in and choose to self-redshirt.
That's the part that's confusing to me. I don't understand what the plan is. He feels like he's on the no plan right now. So
I agree.
So, but if you're Lincoln Riley, Ralph, if you're the coach, are you bringing a guy back that does that?
I don't think you should, but again, we just had UNLV issue a statement saying that they don't do pay for play, and in order to not bring him back, you're going to probably have to have a conversation with the collective and saying, like, don't offer this dude a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I would not bring him back, but my assumption is this is a big talented dude that somebody's going to take a chance on. I think you'd be stupid to offer him money at this point.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and something is clearly up. You know what I mean? When you change that many locations and it's not for like family situations or something like that, there's something to be said about that. All right, but we will see, because Lincoln Riley said that he's not talking about it. He's not even going to address it. So that means that there's something else there too. But I digress. All right, on to the next thing. So Dave Portnoy, he made waves today because he said he is sick and tired of what he's watching over there at Michigan. And he is willing to pay up to $3 million for a USC, for a Michigan quarterback. In NIL money, deal with Barstool. I love it. I'm not mad at it either. Because if I had that type of cash laying around, you don't think that any school that I want to be successful will be successful in terms of getting a particular player? Yes. Yes, we will get what we need. And I'm not mad at it. And people are like, well, this isn't fair and all that. Bro, pretty much every single school has 100 millionaire and billionaire owners. It's just, donors or people who went to that university. It's just a matter of if this matters to them or not, or if you are able to mobilize them and it is, resonates with them to their core. So this is a U problem. This is not a Michigan problem. This is a man who is committed to it. He was committed to pay Connor Stallions. Now, you can not respect it all you want to, or not think it's valiant, or listen, this is college football. This is for crazy people. This is for this is America's version of European soccer. We are crazy people, us college football fans. Let's not get it twisted. I am not above doing things to make sure that the school that I want to win wins. I'm not above it. And I know that most people are not. Even if they are forward-facing, they will also be like, all right, is this going to get us a natty? Because if so, that's okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think a big reason why you're right is I can't think of, if I think about your school, do I not think Phil Knight's sitting around saying, what do I got to do to get this done?
Yes.
When I think about my school, do I think Knapp Lawrence isn't sitting around saying, all right, how much I got to pay to get this done? Some schools, they have these big donors, and if Dave Portnoy is a Michigan fan, then he's going to want to contribute. He announces that it's $2 to $3 million. You love it. I don't necessarily love it, and here's why. Jaden Davis is on that team.
Yes.
He's there, right? You're not going to pay somebody $3 million to there. No hype comes from sitting on the bench and waiting. The
Correct.
only way you get hype sitting on the bench and waiting is if people get frustrated with the starter, which has already happened at Michigan, but he's the third quarterback, right? And
Yeah,
then they have
and he's a true freshman. And I've seen this kid up close and personal at 3D QB. Him and my son have worked out together over there with Taylor Kelly. The kid looks good. Like he throws the ball well. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the universe. He is mobile. But there's a big difference in playing high school football and then turning around and playing, Power 5 college football at Michigan. When you got big games, everybody's giving you their best. And I do believe that Sharon Moore up there, he's going to be conservative. And he's already been conservative. But him choosing Davis Warren over Alex Orji to start the season, that says something. Well, it said something at that point in time about Alex Orji being able to throw the football and their confidence in him. And then when Alex Orji got in, they were like, no. It was like at South Carolina when their quarterback got hurt and they brought in, the kid used to be at Oregon and then at Auburn.
Ashford?
Yes, Robbie Ashford. They brought him in and South Carolina was like, nope, no. We're not throwing the ball, buddy. So now at this point, Michigan has to. Now, granted, freshmen are not always ready. So I'm not saying that they should throw Jaden out there. However, Dave Portnoy is also putting Michigan in a situation to where they're not going to be able to recruit high school quarterbacks.
Well, that's my point. That's the point that I was ultimately trying to make is Brady Hart is committed to them. I don't know if he's 2025 or 2026, but he's committed to them. And when somebody tagged him in this video saying, hey, you're talking about giving $3 million away, it should go to Brady Hart. Brady Hart retweeted
No, it
that.
shouldn't go to Brady Hart. I'm not paying no damn high school kid no millions of dollars to come to my school. I don't even know if you're good.
So what I'm saying is if I'm Sharon Moore, I want to have a conversation with Dave Portnoy before he floats something like that, because you don't know how Michigan could get set up to be put in a situation. Not that they're against doing illegal things, but you never know how they're going to get set up in certain situations. So like right now you got John Mateer at Washington State. You don't think that video came across John Mateer's timeline?
And John Mateer like, hey, Michigan, hop in my DMs, homie. Hop in my DMs because I'll be over there for 1.2. And I'm not mad at him. And you can't be mad. And if you're Washington State or a Washington State fan, how the hell are you going to be mad at John Mateer?
No, I don't think you're going to be mad at John Mateer. But what's going to happen is there's going to be all these quarterbacks across the country using Dave Portnoy's comments to negotiate with their own schools. I'm just saying that, like, I love the idea of Dave Portnoy saying, I'm going to take it upon myself to fund Michigan's quarterback operation from here on out. I don't love that it didn't happen in the way that some other closed doors. It happened for content, and in my view, is potentially bring some trouble and some confusion to college football in an era where everybody's talking about, NIL is the problem. NIL is the problem. NIL is not the problem. Doing these contracts would not be the problem. Revenue sharing would be the problem. Introducing money is not the problem. If that was the case, then giving that money to coaches over the last 25 years, that would have been the issue I have with it is I think what Dave Portnoy is doing could be really, really great for Michigan.
Yes.
It could be really great for the quarterback market. However, doing it out in public could set a bunch of people up to get in trouble. So that's my only thing is that you have quarterbacks right now that instead of thinking about the season in front of them, they're thinking about a $3 million payday. And if you don't think that's the case, dude, look at how many people apply to be on game shows for far less money. Not even to get the money, for an opportunity to compete to get the money. People want money. If you turn becoming Michigan's quarterback into a game show, it's going to disrupt everything. And the only reason we're even in this position is because the NCAA wouldn't let the student athletes share in the revenue. So now anybody who can privately fund, now you're seeing how elections work. You're seeing how it works right now. One dude with a wild idea can drop 7 figures and get some influence in a situation.
Yep. This is genius, though, because there's nothing the NCAA can do about it. Because he's like, I have a legitimate company, a media company. I'm going to pay the kid. Hey, listen, if you're Michigan's quarterback, we got a spot for you. You got to do pizza reviews. You got to do this and that. That's a win because not only do you get to be Michigan's quarterback and you get NIL money, you are also gaining a following that is going to do you more good than even that $1 million+ that you're going to make is going to do for you. This is an absolute win. And you know what? My kid can go to Michigan. How about that? Look,
That's what every
with them
dad in
damn
America is
cheaters.
thinking right now.
And you know what? And then if you dare to call us cheaters, I'm going off on you. I'm going off on you. I'm defending them. This is college football, buddy.
Every dad in America is thinking go blue right now.
Yes. And you think, and you brought up the politicians, right? And this has been another thing is you said this, is how the political system works. You earn money. Well, politics are in play in college football because you have politicians showing up to college football games. They got to show up because I love college football so much. And no, it's a photo op. And you have Donald Trump who's going to the Georgia Alabama game and Kalen DeBoer. Oh man, masterclass, sir. Masterclass in how to handle a question because them folks asked him about Donald Trump going to their game and how cool it was and all that, and his response was essentially, man, listen, we're so happy that there are so many celebrities that love to come to this game. There's a lot of influential people that want to be here. It just speaks to the magnitude of this game and of our university. We are happy for it and we love that people want to be a part of it. It's going to get a lot of attention, but we got to keep focused not on the celebrities that are going to be there, but on the football game. I was like, Kalen, bro, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, man. Don't fall for it. They set him up to just absolutely get killed either way because from that answer, because he's a football coach, he was asked a football type question. So
Yeah.
no, it is not my job at that point in time to give my political affiliation. And I saw in the comments people were like, yeah, that's exactly what I would say if I were voting for Donald Trump and I didn't want to offend anybody. Or see, he hates Trump.
You can't
I
win.
was like, no, he just wasn't going to give you idiots an answer that you wanted. And I loved it.
At this point, we're like 9 years into this process. And like, if you can't wrap your head around the idea that some people are going to vote for Republicans and some people are going to vote for Democrats, I don't know what to tell you. You're probably in shock and miserable every single day. But I'm not a big fan of bringing the politics into the college football apostles, but it is part of the Unafraid Show network. And in our personal lives, we're not afraid to talk politics at all.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is going to this game. Tim Walz is going to like a Minnesota game. And so, they're both doing it, right? But on the Donald Trump end, is an election year. We're coming up on the election, and he's going to an SEC game where 80% of the crowd is going to be super psyched that he's there. Is a game in Tuscaloosa?
I think so. Let me verify, but I'm pretty sure it is.
If the game's in Tuscaloosa, then it's not even in a swing state anyway. So I'm like, why are you wasting your time going to a game in a state?
It is in Tuscaloosa. So you're
So that's my
already going to
issue.
be getting the cheers.
Yes, he wants to get cheered for. He's supposed to be trying to win an election, and he wants people to clap for him. So I don't have an issue with the president or a presidential candidate, whether it's Walz or
He
Trump.
should be at Utah, Arizona this weekend. That's where he should be.
Right.
He should be he should be at Penn State, Illinois. That's where he should be.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Illinois at Penn State. That's where he should be, in Pennsylvania.
Right, but you're not guaranteed to get uproarious applause in Happy Valley. It's probably going to be 50-50 there, as the state is. This dude just wants to get cheered for. And again, I don't care about politicians going to football games. I love football. I think everybody should love football. But the idea that like he has an opportunity to go be seen somewhere where he needs a few votes, and he's going to spend like what precious hours he has left just getting showered with praise in Tuscaloosa. Come on, man.
And he's gonna leave it halftime and everything else. But you know, there, we all have choices and decisions. Speaking of choices and decisions, though, uh, your boy Hugh Freeze is back at it again. So, and he had some things to say after his team lost 24-14 to Arkansas last week. And he came out and said, listen, listen, listen. No offense to Cal. No offense to Arkansas. And I love Sam Pittman, and I hope that they win all the rest of their games. But if we played them, but the best team didn't win, and we played them 9 more times to make 10, we'll beat them 9 out of 10 times. That's not how this works, bro. Hugh, this is not how this works. You only get to play them 1 time. So nobody cares about what mysteriously could have happened the next 10 times or the next 9 times. Nobody cares. You get one opportunity to win the game, and we don't feel sorry for you. And do you know what? We don't believe you. I don't believe that if they played Cal 9 more times, they would beat them 9 more times. And I don't believe that if they played Arkansas 9 more times, that you would beat them 9 more times. And do you know why? Because of the other thing that he said, Ralph. We got to find somebody who won't throw the ball to the other team and who will run the ball and not turn it over and not fumble. So if you got these problems, are they going to be fixed in the next 9 games? No.
This is buyout behavior. Some of the stuff that he's publicly saying is him looking at the fact that
he ready for that Brian Harsin special?
If he gets fired after this season, I think he gets a $20 million check. Why are you talking about Sam Pittman? Why are you antagonizing your own quarterbacks? What in the world would you even talk about Ole Miss for? Lane Kiffin just jumped down this man's throat too. Yep. Lane Kiffin smelled blood, and he already knew Hugh Freeze was getting embarrassed in the media and jumped in. Auburn fans had to be so sick of this. I know that there's like
how much you want to bet that they wish that Gus Malzahn was back? They're like, damn, maybe we shouldn't have fired Gus, because they've had Gus, Brian Harsin, and now him. Hey, buddy, listen. You cannot be impatient and there's a big thing, because you can't be impatient, but you also can't wait too long.
They tried to break up Brian Harsin's family.
Oh, yes, they did. Trying to say he was cheating with the intern or something like that.
Plessy Crochet or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So, she was a baddie though.
But enough fans were involved in trying to break up Brian Harsin's family because they didn't like the direction of the program. Look at the next 4 games for Auburn. He needs to go a minimum of 2-2 in the next 4 games to not have
So we'll tell you, they have Oklahoma, Georgia, Missouri, and Kentucky. Now Oklahoma and Missouri are winnable games. Georgia, I think, is going to drop a weird game this year, but I don't think it's going to be against Auburn. And Kentucky has a tendency to put people in chokeholds, and they don't score a lot of points. So, yeah, they're going to need to go 2-2.
Am I correct in saying that they have back-to-back road games over that stretch?
Yeah, after the Oklahoma game. Yeah, the Georgia, Missouri, and Kentucky game are on the road.
That's a rough 4, and they have to go at least 2-2 for Hugh Freeze to have a better record through 22 games than Brian Harsin did when he got fired. If he goes 1-3 over the next 4, he'll have the exact same record Brian Harsin did when he got fired.
What if he goes 0-4?
Then they're probably going to bring back Plessy Crochet, but the problem is Hugh Freeze's marriage is indestructible.
You're rude. You are rude. All right. So he's also come at Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin has clapped back. And I'll tell you, I love Lane Kiffin. I love Lane Kiffin on social media. He don't give a damn. He's like where they be like, honey badger don't give a fuck. that's Lane Kiffin. He's the damn honey badger, bro. I love it.
I watched a Get Ready With Me video of him and his daughter the other day. That was one of the funniest pieces of content I've ever seen. And I'm at Arizona State. We got our pound of flesh from Lane Kiffin. We got that man tarmacked. I have no ill will toward him whatsoever. I think if honestly, he might owe us one. If he has something to say about Arizona State, I'll let it slide the first time. But I would hate to be on the other end of him just because he just likes picking on people. He's the white 50 Cent. He just likes picking on people.
Yep. And he's got dirt on his name already. So he's like, now what you gonna say about me?
Yeah, Nick Saban publicly hates this man, and he's impervious to it.
Yeah.
What am I going to say?
I love Coach Saban.
Right.
That's what he said. Hey, do you know that Nick Saban hates you? I love Nick Saban. I don't know what the problem is. He's a great coach, fantastic mentor to me. He hates you. He did you see what he said in the book? Yeah, but it's fine. I love him. He helped me out so much. That's the best. You're like, what do you not? No, I don't understand. Speaking of hate, Ralph, I just want to let everybody know Ralph is so conflicted right now because two things that he loved are now broken. He loved the Pac-12. I love the Pac-12 too. It's over for me. I don't get it. I have grieved. I have gone through the 5 stages of grief, and I am moved on. It's over for me. And he loves the Mountain West Conference because the Mountain West is, where Wyoming is, maybe where Arizona State should be. Like, there's a lot of things.
Oh my God.
I'm joking. I'm playing. I was just trolling. And now the Mountain West is being poached by the Pac-12. The Pac-12 was trying to get Memphis, UTSA, and all of that. And then Memphis's athletic director it was either athletic director or their president today was asked about the Pac-12 deal. And he was like, it wasn't a good deal. It was a bad deal. So we backed out. And you have the Pac-12 and the Mountain West are now on the verge of destruction, Ralph. They're both on the verge. Because the Pac-12, which this year in July became the first year that they weren't going to have at least 8 members in the conference. And so they're in trouble. And you guys make sure that you guys like, subscribe right now. Like, subscribe. Go to the YouTube channel, leave a comment, leave it in the chat, everything in between. So now the Pac-12 has 7 full members. Oregon State, Washington State, Boise State, San Diego State, Fresno State, Colorado State, and Utah State. I'm tired of saying state. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is the Mountain West has UNLV, Air Force, Nevada, New Mexico, Wyoming, San Jose State, and Hawaii. So the Mountain West has 6 full members right now. And they've signed on. UNLV is in limbo right now. So when 2025 comes up, when 2025 comes up, that's fine. But in July of 2026, I believe. So 2024 they go into the Big Ten. Yeah, so as of July 2026, the Pac-12 has to have 8 members. Okay? And the following year, the Mountain West has to have 8 members. So they're a year behind each other. And Ralph, as they get closer and closer to that deadline, you know what's going to happen. Either they're waiting on the ACC to break up. That way they can grab like Wake Forest or somebody, Syracuse or somebody. But they have to grab, the Pac-12 has to get other current Power 5 schools, I believe, to maintain Power 5 status. And the Mountain West just needs anybody. And do you know who is trying to position themselves to get into the Pac-12?
Please tell me.
2 schools. One of them I'm very close to. UC Davis. Yep.
Ooh.
And Sacramento State.
Okay.
So they are raising tons of money right now to try to, and commitments to try to make that happen. So the Pac-12 does have a backdoor option, a backdoor trapdoor option. The Mountain West can have that same option too.
We got a comment in the chat that kind of is how I feel from Dustin Raines, that they should have merged from the beginning.
Yep. Everybody's egos got too big. 100%.
You know what this reminds me of? And maybe this is why I'm so mad. We spent years trying to, Boy Who Cried Wolf or whatever, Chicken Little, Sky is Falling, trying to tell people what was wrong with the Pac-12. One of my suggestions that I kept trying to hammer home is like, hey, we got to get a couple of these Mountain West teams that have outgrown the conference over here to stabilize things, to legitimize them and make the conference more attractive, because we're losing people. And you were like, we're losing the conference anyway. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You ultimately ended up being right. Whole conference fell apart. And then the Mountain West enters in this scheduling agreement to give a little boost to Oregon State and Washington State. And you know how they always say, this is probably going to get me in trouble, but please follow me here. You know how women always say, like, hey, never accept help when you're in a grocery store parking lot, right? Like,
yeah,
you see somebody walk and they offer to help you put your groceries away or something like that. If it's a stranger, just, hey, if you can do it yourself, or make sure that you go back into the store. Like, just don't have too many interactions with strangers. Don't put yourself in danger, right?
Yep.
This what the Pac-12 is doing to the Mountain West right now feels like the opposite of that. It feels like not being able to load your groceries, asking a passerby for help, then shanking them and backing out over them, leaving the groceries and peeling out. Like, what in the world? Like, it's like giving somebody a hand because they're drowning and they pull your ass in.
Oh, so that's the story that I was gonna say. It's the frog and the scorpion, where the frog is standing there. He's on the bank. He's getting ready to hop along the lily pads to get to the other side. And then he sees a scorpion. Scorpion says, hey, yo, can I ride on your back over onto the other side of the lake? And he's like, absolutely not, bro. You're a scorpion. You're going to sting me. And the scorpion is like, bro, if I sting you, I'm going to die too. What the hell is wrong with you? Of course I'm not going to sting you. So, and the frog is like, that actually makes a lot of sense. That would be dumb. So then he lets him on his back, hops along the lily pads. They get about halfway over, yank, stings him. And he looks at him. He's like, what the, bro? Like, you said you weren't going to sting me. And now you're going to die. He was like, bro, I'm a scorpion. Like, what the hell you thought I was going to do?
So but this is what this is going to end up doing. And I realized that this is going to put Oregon State and Washington State on my hate list. Like, I got like 2-3 teams on there. They're going to be on there forever, thinking about adding a fourth. The Washington Commanders.
Okay.
I root against, well, they didn't used to be called the Commanders, and the Arizona Cardinals used to be in the NFC East.
Oh, I forgot, because in case you don't know, Ralph is Native American. He is part native. He is a half Native American, and
my dad is Northern Cheyenne. That's the little star right there.
So that's why. So I was like, why does he hate the Commanders? But now I get it. I didn't put 2 and 2 together initially.
Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's Dan Snyder, then there's the NFC East and all that. But like, I just, there's a few on there that I pretty gleefully root against, thinking about adding the Raiders. But but I will just be an all-time hater of Washington State and Oregon State for the rest of my life.
Because they're breaking up the conference that you love?
Well, as long as the Mountain West survives, whatever. I'll just root against them. What I would love is for the teams that they brought in to start just running a train on them every single year. That would be so funny to me.
What if Wyoming goes over to the Pac-12? Will you be happy then?
No, because it. Well, if Wyoming goes, everybody might as well go. That's the thing
Yeah.
I don't understand. Just take everyone.
Thank you. Just stop this pomp and circumstance acting like you're too good for people. You're desperate, Pac-12. You are desperate.
Add the
Act
two
like desperate
Montana
people.
schools, add the two Montana schools, add the two California schools, and then have an 18-team all West conference. Like, be as viable as you possibly can. But I'm letting Boise State in the house. You idiots. You dummies.
You let the cat in the mouse house.
Oh my, yes.
Hey, and they are going to eat you. And
And they play this year.
yep. Hey, y'all, make sure you leave your comments down in the chat, like, subscribe, tell a friend about the show. All right. So next thing up, we got to get to these games this weekend, Ralph. We got to get to the games this weekend. We got big games. We're not going to talk about all of them because there are some major games this weekend. We got Oregon at UCLA. We got Arizona at Utah. Huge game. Pac-12 game. Excuse me. Big 12 game. You got Big 12 versus the SEC. Oklahoma, Auburn. Damn, never mind. It's just an SEC game. You got Minnesota, and I'm joking about all these people. Minnesota at Michigan, Big Ten game, and we got Kentucky at Ole Miss. Now, I'm excited to see what happens with Arizona, Utah, because number one, will Cam Rising be back? And number two, Arizona's defense horrendous. But I want to see how their offense, which got stuffed in a locker against Kansas State, how they do against Utah's defense, because T-Mac has been unguardable. That's Tetaroa McMillan, their wide receiver, is going to be a first rounder. So I'm excited to see that one. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Is that game in Tucson?
No, that game's in Rice-Eccles.
Yeah, that was probably Arizona's best chance because it's like 110 this weekend.
Yeah. No, and it's nice and cool and everything in
Yeah.
Utah right now. All right. So the first game, Oklahoma State at Kansas State. Kansas State is favored by 4.5 points. And before we get into this game, what is our records this week?
So a little bit of threw it to the judges beforehand, but I went 4-1 last week to bring me to 14-7. You went 3-1 with an asterisk to get to 11-8 or 11-9.
Yeah.
You said, and I'm this is word for word, and this was actually my idea to let you off the hook on this. And this is the second time you've pulled something like this year, so I got to get you on the record on stuff. You said, I'm going with Utah unless Cam Rising doesn't play, but you never finished the sentence. You never said that you were going to go with Oklahoma State. You just said,
so it like nullified it.
and in the moment, right after you said it, I was like, I'll absolutely give you that condition. Because I had gone with Oklahoma State, and that was my only loss. And Cam Rising didn't play because Utah's a bunch of liars, which we've known forever. So, so I think that to me, it shouldn't count as anything, and you should get one extra pick this week to make up for it. But I got to get you on record. Next time, all the way.
Okay. Cool. Before we get into that, I want to address one more question that came in the chat, and this was about the Pac-12 and the Mountain West, because we talked about UC Davis and Sacramento State, which are FCS teams in the Big Sky, and he asked about any MAC teams or any of the Montanas, like Montana State or North Dakota State, which they would be, and South Dakota, which they're really good. So I have not heard anything about those schools, so about the other FCS schools. But I do think that the the Pac-12 obviously would be happy to have UC Davis academically because we want to have the standards, and Sacramento State. I'm not sure if they're AAU accredited or not, but maybe the Pac-12 is desperate enough at this point in time. And then you got the MAC schools. I think the MAC schools they feel pretty content right now with the MACtion situation, and I think that they're going to end up with some sort of situation with either the Sun Belt or with the whatever happens with the Mountain West. I think that you're going to end up with some sort of conglomeration of the second tier of teams for like their own college football experience.
Man, this feel if we and I know that the Big Ten and SEC are getting together right now, and I hope that
forgot
I
about
will.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
I would love your take on this.
yes. So for anybody that doesn't know, so the Big Ten and the SEC are coming together to have a powwow. They're going to have a meeting. Just them two, not the Big 12, not the ACC. The big dogs got to eat. And this is finally, somebody is like, oh, let's stop trying to be greedy and individuals. And let's now let's work together and do what's best for us. And mind you, that is still the big people doing what's best for them. However, I do believe that we are looking at that one of the biggest problems with college football and the reason why there needs to be leadership surrounding college football alone and a commissioner, and I'm happy to take that role at some point in time, is the schools are invested in doing what's best for the schools and not what's best for the sport. And the conferences are on board with doing what's best for their conference and not what's best for the sport. And the thing that's best for the sport of college football is parity, just like we have in the NFL. So, like, and because my producer on the Nightcap, Raj, he's not a college football fan. And whenever he's huge, he loves the NFL, loves it, loves European soccer. The thing that he hates about college football, he's like, every time I turn on like a team that I know some people, they're playing against somebody out like a terrible team, particularly in the beginning of the season. And he's like, this is not normal. He was like, there's so many lopsided games and it shouldn't be like that.
Wait, is he a UFC fan?
No, boxing.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say like that's how UFC is for me, but I still watch it. I'll turn it on. The whole undercard, I'm learning two people's names every single time.
Yeah, but the fights are competitive usually, and you don't know. And even if it's supposedly a ranked person versus not, you don't know who's going to win. Like, that's the best part about sports. And college has too many predictable outcomes. And that's what I think is going to be better for the world of college football. If the Big Ten and the SEC say, all right, let's come together, let's do what's best for college football and not what's best for Alabama and Georgia. No, let's do what's best for college football. And yes, it is going to hurt the individual universities on some level because you're not going to be able to have ridiculous runs. You're going to have short little bursts, and then you're going to be bad. And then you're going to have short little bursts, and then you're going to be bad. Look at the Patriots. Look at the Chiefs. You're going to have these short little bursts. And I actually think that that's better for the long-term health of college football than you having teams that can never like if you're a Vanderbilt fan, you know that you have zero chance of winning the national championship. Zero, ever. But now imagine if Mississippi State can have a chance every now and then. That's better for the sport when there are no who is Mississippi State playing this week? Oh, Texas. 38-point spread in a conference. Like, that should never happen. Like,
right.
the NFL spreads, if you get a double-digit spread, if you get a 10-point spread, you're like, oh, goddamn, that's a lot of damn points. And that's what college football needs to try to attain, is to get these spreads down.
All right, so pretend you're the SEC, I'm the Big Ten, we're sitting down for a meeting. Okay? Here's what I have to say to you. We don't need the NCAA. We don't need the college football playoff. We need you and me. We need an 8-team playoff at the end of the year. Let's cut our conference games from 8 to 7, and then let's make people battle to want to come play against us in our own league to prove that they can join up. And eventually we'll just replace the NCAA completely. We'll have our own playoff. We'll
I'm
keep
not mad at
everything in
that.
house. It'll be AFC, NFC. What do you say?
I'm not mad at that. And then we just pick off the rest of the conference and be like, hey, yo, ACC, here are the team. Like, we just draft. All right, I'll take Miami. Okay, I'll take Florida State. I'll take North Carolina. All right, I'll
Yeah.
take Virginia. And just draft them off. And you
What
know
is the
what those schools are going to say? Thank you for choosing us. Let's
Yes.
go.
Pick me. I
Do
finally
we
understand what a
hold
pick
on?
me is.
Do we get a full share? Yes. Oh, okay. That's all we need to say. Just tell us who we playing and what time and what door you want us out of.
Yeah, and that's all they care about anyway, is that full share. Because guess what? Washington Generals get paychecks too. The Washington Generals get paychecks to follow the Harlem Globetrotters around the country and get depantsed in every city in America. And then they go to the bank and they cash that check and they are happy. So if somebody wants to replace Vanderbilt as the next Vanderbilt in the SEC, there's going to be a long line of suitors, just like there's going to be a long line of suitors to get Dave Portnoy's money to go be the quarterback at Michigan. I'm warming up my arm right now. So like I don't know. This meeting to me feels like they could just live golf the entire NCAA.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. All right, now back to the games. So we got Oklahoma State, Kansas State -4, and this is crazy how much things have changed with one loss. These two these two teams actually had 33 first place votes in the Big 12 media poll. And a lot of people thought they were going to be undefeated headed into this week. Well, Utah took care of Oklahoma State last week, and Kansas State got absolutely just taken behind the woodshed last week by BYU. And we didn't love Kansas State's performance in their 31-7 win over Arizona. So now at this point in time, we can't love them versus Oklahoma State. But Oklahoma State can't run the ball with Ollie Gordon.
All right, hype contest. More overhyped going into the year, Ollie Gordon or Avery Johnson?
Avery Johnson, because people weren't hyping up Ollie Gordon as much because he had the offseason incident. So they were kind of just shh. But 2.9 yards a carry, not cutting it right now.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie Gordon got to be careful because he might 2.9 yards a carry might get him pulled over for no reason in Stillwater.
Instead of getting pulled over for a reason, might get him pulled over for no reason. You damn right about that.
Pull him over, tell him to drive faster.
Get back to your old self.
Yeah, or a cop might buy him a drink. I don't know, but I just 23 first downs for Avery Johnson in the pass game in 4 games. 23. Yeah. Some schools do that in one game. I mean, that's like your air raids or whatever, but that one's tough to swallow. Both of these teams are supposed to fight for the Big 12 title, and now the loser of this game has to feel like they're in hell for the rest of the season. This is a must win. It's a must win in week 5.
Okay, so this game is in Manhattan, and because the Big 12, you're going to have to win the Big 12 to get into the college football playoff. They're only going to get one team in. I think it's clear at this point in time that that's what's going to happen, because the only team that looks like that they can at least finish with one loss is Utah. That's it. That's the only team that looks like it's even possible to finish with one or less losses. And
I'll counter with Iowa State so far. I know historically we cannot depend on this team.
Yeah.
But Iowa State so far has done everything that you would expect a contender to do. So far.
All right. So who are you taking? Kansas State -4.5.
The only game I lost last week was taking Oklahoma State, and now I'm getting stubborn about it. I wanna go with them again. I'm doing it. They have sixth year offensive linemen. How can they not run block?
It ain't
Their
working.
whole O line gets AARP letters in the like they're.
I am also going to take Oklahoma State because I don't trust Kansas State. I think that they're going to have turnovers, not going to be able to move the ball, and Oklahoma State at least can score. So give me Oklahoma State. All right, Louisville at Notre Dame -6, and this is another home game, but this is a ranked home game. Notre Dame only loses non-ranked home games against NIU, Marshall, and a 3-9 Stanford team since Marcus Freeman has been there. Notre Dame cannot throw the football, but they can run that thing. And 6 points is a lot. Give me Louisville, even if Notre Dame wins.
So is Notre Dame that's favored by 6?
Yes.
Somehow, Louisville
And I don't know
dropped
how.
over. Yeah, they dropped over 30 points last week without really doing anything on offense. They completed
Correct.
13 passes and had under 60 yards rushing. If they can manufacture points without actually, that spells trouble for Notre Dame. So I think I have to ride with you on this. If Notre Dame wins, I'm assuming it's going to be a close game. They have not defended home field well, and what Louisville did last week, going over 30 points without really doing anything offensively, really made me feel like it. If they make some adjustments, that they could do some serious damage
This
to Notre
line
Dame.
is up to 7 now. It went from 6 to 7.
So people are putting money in on the Irish?
Yes.
Gosh.
I want Notre Dame to win, but I don't think even if they do win that this 7 is going to happen. Give me.
Are you ready for the most psychotic stat in all of college football?
What's that?
Riley Leonard in 2022 in the regular season finale. This is 2022, so 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He threw 4 touchdown passes.
Okay.
Since then, 296 pass attempts, 4 touchdown passes.
That's not good.
Yeah.
In fact, that's bad. So who are you taking?
100% Louisville.
Louisville, stop the run and you win. Like it's
if we lose this bet, I'm gonna be like, well, I'm not a sucker. Like I wasn't gonna. Okay.
All right. Georgia -2 at Alabama. Let me make sure that this line did not move. Nope. It is steady as a cruise ship, buddy. Both of these teams got a shot to make the college football playoff because the SEC is going to get 4 teams in, just like the Big Ten is going to get 4 teams in, likely. So I just don't know. Like, I don't trust the Georgia offense like I did last year with Brock Bowers and company. They don't look as explosive. The big plays. I think Beck's a good system quarterback. I think he'll translate okay to the NFL. Like he feels very Trevor Lawrence's to me. NFL Trevor Lawrence. Like that's what I think he's going to be. Like he'll be cool. Like you put a really good team around him, he'll be all right. But he's not. I don't think he's a superhero. And
he's Brock Osweiler.
I think he's better than Brock Osweiler, but
Brock Osweiler might have better numbers than Trevor Lawrence. If you take his last 16 games, I'm going to do that as soon as we finish. I'm going to take Brock's last 16 games and T-Law's last 16 games, put them next to each other, and we'll see what happens.
Yes. Yeah, damn. So it's actually good, though, that we're seeing these two brands play against each other in the regular season because it's only happened once in the last, over 10 years. So it's good to see it. Huge test for Kalen DeBoer. Huge test because he's new to Alabama. He's got to get in there and, make people believe and give them confidence that they can win this sort of game at home. Last year, the biggest game that they had at home, they got beat by Texas, and now this is the next one. And he doesn't need to win this game, but you want him to win this game. And I actually think that they're going to win. I'm taking Alabama +2 in this game because Jalen Milroe, I believe, is going to be the difference. Like winning or losing is going to be on his shoulders because he can make plays and escape and do things that other people cannot. And I don't think that, and I think that Alabama's defense is good enough to force Georgia to put it on Carson Beck's arm. And I just don't think that they're talented enough on the outside or can run the ball well enough against Alabama to be able to put up enough points because Alabama's going to put up at least 24 points.
I think you're right. I have a question for you. When was the last time Kalen DeBoer wasn't new to a job? This man collects jobs like Leo DiCaprio collects girlfriends. Like
he's like Jamaican. I got many jobs, man.
This is not. I highly doubt he's uncomfortable. This is what he does. He comes in, he looks at the ingredients you have, and he cooks you up a 5-star meal. Like, this is a big game. These are probably the two best coaches in America. I'm spooked a little bit by what I saw of Georgia on the road. And now that, they both had a lot of time to prepare for each other. I think Alabama's going to defend home field. It's not going to be pretty, but I think they'll defend home field. I do have more faith in Jalen Milroe than I do Carson Beck, though as prospects for the next level, I don't trust either one of them.
Totally.
But yeah, why not? Roll Tide.
Yep. And Jalen Milroe, I actually might trust him more because I've seen Lamar Jackson.
True.
All right. And I've seen Justin Fields. So it's doable.
You can win with them.
Yep. Illinois at Penn State -17. Oh my God, dude, this feels like the second best layup of the week. The first layup of the week is Minnesota at Michigan -9 points. Oh no, -6 points, maybe 6 or 9. I'm like, give me Michigan all day because I will beat the hell out of Minnesota not throwing the football. So what is Michigan going to do to them? But that's a whole nother story. All right, Illinois. Last year, their quarterback, Luke Altmaier, had his worst game of the season against Penn State. He's better. He's older. Not doing stupid stuff with the football. Penn State struggled with Bowling Green. And Penn State against Bowling Green didn't throw the ball exceptionally well. They ran the ball exceptionally well. And you're not just going to line up and run Illinois over. This 17.5 points feels like craziness to me. This feels like ridiculous. Give me Illinois +17.5 and do not be surprised by an outright win.
Ooh. Well, so here's the deal. Penn State didn't even cover this spread last year when Altmaier threw 4 interceptions. And so gave Drew Aller 4 extra possessions, and he didn't even throw a touchdown pass. And I know how you feel about Drew Aller. He needs to do something against a noteworthy defense. He hasn't yet. He hasn't yet. Every time he goes up against a good defense, he either doesn't throw a touchdown pass or he goes sub 100 yards, which happened twice toward the end of last season.
And Illinois is +7 in turnovers, giving up less than 300 yards of offense per game. They put Nebraska in a chokehold, and Nebraska's got a better quarterback than Penn State, and he's a true freshman. So, dude, Drew Aller is going to throw the ball to Illinois probably twice.
As long as Luke Altmaier isn't turning the ball over, because I think he's like 10 touchdowns to no interceptions at this point. If he's riding that hot hand, I'm with you. I don't know about an outright win, but I mean, Illinois fans would be going nuts if they were 5-0 with wins at Lincoln and in Happy Valley. They'd be thinking
Slow
CFP
down.
probably.
Slow down. Well, actually, honestly, they could get in as that fourth Big Ten team because they would have knocked off Penn State, so they would be ahead of them. And if they can finish 10-2, that'll be
All right. Well, I'm
with
riding
the
with you.
right
We
losses.
got 4 people on the same, or we got 4 games that we're on the same side of. That almost never happens.
Dude, because they got Michigan, Oregon, and then the bottom of the Big Ten left: Minnesota, Michigan State, Rutgers, and uh, Northwestern. So if they lose like Michigan and Oregon close and beat Penn State, bro, they're headed to the college football playoff as long as they don't do anything dumb in the last 4 games. So yeah, so that's reasonable.
Oof.
So who are you taking?
I'm with you. I'm with you
All right.
on all 4 so far, which I don't think has happened this year.
Nope. Last game up, Wisconsin at USC, minus 15.5. Wisconsin and their backup quarterback, because Tyler Van Dyke's out for the year with a torn ACL that happened in the beginning of the Alabama game, which I think allowed that game to get out of control. USC minus 15.5 at home after that heartbreaking loss against Michigan. Bear Alexander, a rotational defensive lineman, is out. And their defensive line is not exactly deep. So losing a rotational piece is going to hurt. And Wisconsin looked at that that Michigan game and was like, listen, our quarterback can throw the ball better than Alex Orji, but we can run the ball. And they actually ran the ball pretty decently, I think, against Alabama. So I am lining up and I'm going to run the hell out of the ball against USC. But I'm not gonna, because D'Anton Lynn is a good enough defensive coordinator that you're not just gonna be able to just line up and like Michigan did, because I think Michigan got a little bit lucky too. But if you mix it up some and just continue to run out of spreads and run out of all sorts of formations and then pass the ball some, take a deep shot every now and then just to keep them honest, you get a couple pass interference calls or something, bro, you will be in this game. I'm actually going to take Wisconsin at USC plus 15.5. It's a stretch putting this
It is
much
a tough
faith in
line.
Braden Locke, Wisconsin's quarterback.
He does have experience. He got to play last year.
Yep.
But he doesn't move.
Yeah.
And so I'm worried that D'Anton Lynn's going to tee off on him. So that'll be the one game that I depart from you. Give me the Trojans. Minus 15.5 is a lot, but maybe a 17-point win here.
So
and then you got to pick one more. You got to pick one more. Are you going to go with that Michigan, Minnesota?
Oh, yes. Easy work. Michigan all day. What the hell they do?
Gophers, they show their teeth like.
Hey, I'm gonna call them. Or we'll just call them the Cheetahs. That's what I'm gonna call them, the Cheetahs, the Michigan Cheetahs. But I'm in with them boys. Hey, yo, Dave, holla at your boy. I got an 8th grader and might have a kid in the portal in a couple years. You never know. I probably shouldn't say that.
I told you, man. I told you. I got an 11-year-old that's never played football in his life. We're gonna see if he can throw today.
Hey, man, it is what it is. But
yeah, I'm gonna say, hey, one throw. Everybody knows the rules.
Yep. All right, so I'm taking Michigan in that football game. I'll be at the Oregon at UCLA game. 8 o'clock kick.
I'm saying I love that. I love that Oregon's going to get to play. They don't play a lot of night games.
Pac-12 after dark. I am. It's scaring me. I tried to warn Miami fans about this for next week, and we'll talk about it next week, because they play Cal at an 8 o'clock kick, and I'm like, listen, they're like, oh, it ain't no big deal. I was like, listen, you don't understand Pac-12 after dark, bro. You do not understand how this works. Weird results happen, and I'm nervous. Oregon's a 24-point favorite. I don't have any faith that they'll lose, but it's Pac-12 after dark, Big Ten after dark now. Maybe weird things don't happen Big Ten after dark.
What if we get high school Ethan Garbers who threw 75 touchdowns in 1 year? What if we get what if we just get an appearance of the old, because that was about how long it took Jaden Daniels to start looking like he looked at Cajon High School. Maybe this is where he unlocks it,
No,
makes it
no,
rain on everybody.
no. Try next week. Everybody knows I like Deshaun Foster, but nah, bro. We need to stuff them in a locker.
Is this a
Like
house divided game? Is your wife going in team colors? You going in team colors?
she's absolutely good. She said today, "I'm wearing my UCLA gear." I was like, "Listen. You either you can roll with the winners, or you can roll with the losers." And she was like, "I'm just not that type of chick to abandon my team just because we might struggle." I was like,
I
"I
appreciate
appreciate
that
that."
though, because my wife and I went to the same school, and every time they lose, she's like, "What happened to your team?" And when they win, she's like, "We did it."
Yeah. Hey, that's the natural inclination of people. We won, they lost.
Yeah, I'm
But
like, how
um,
come I don't get to do that?
exactly. And you guys, this is the Unafraid Show. College Football Apostles presented by the Unafraid Show. Make sure that you guys like, subscribe, get notifications, leave comments, people, and most importantly, share. So we're getting ready to end it. Go leave a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and share and leave a comment, people. Peace out. Catch you guys next week.